do that, right? We're going to talk about, we're going to get into more details about the LEED building rating system, right? We talked about this last week. We talked about building rating systems. So now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty. I'm hoping that this will not be new to you. Over the last couple of weeks, I've posted reading assignments in the textbook. We have a required textbook in this class, right? So I've been wanting you to read those chapters in the textbook, right? We haven't done anything with it yet. Now we're going to start to do something with that. I wanted you, here's 5 or 6 or 7 chapters I wanted you to read. Go ahead. Matthew, did you have a question or somebody? Right, just like the gentleman in the no worries. Yeah, just like the gentleman in the TED talk there, right? And ask questions. You know, take advantage of myself and the other people at Triton to help you along. So, anyways, we'll get back to the textbook in a minute. But anyway, I'm part of the reason I played that video is to remind you that to master this material, it's going to take effort on your part, right? I can present this to you, but you're not going to get it without doing the reading assignments. At the end of each chapter are quiz questions. You can do those quiz questions. The answers are in the back of the book. So please put forth the effort. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about the LEED building rating system. Right, we said last week LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's a rating system for green buildings. Right, it's there to, you know, just like the miles per gallon on your car or the number of grams of sodium in your Doritos, right? It gives you attributes. It helps us answer the question, is my building really green? Is my building sustainable? Right, so here we go. I'm hoping to do a number of things this semester. Number one is to prepare you to allow you to sit for the LEED GA or Green Associates exam, right? That's a credential that helps you professionally. And oh, by the way, along the way, I'm also hoping that you learn more about how to reduce the human use of resources, how to make buildings more green or more sustainable. So we're doing 2 of those things. Again, just so we get our terminology straight, buildings are certified, right? We talked about LEED certified, and professionals are accredited. 3 levels of accreditation in the LEED program. The LEED Green Associate is kind of the first step. That's what we're going to work on learning about this semester. The next step is a LEED AP or accredited professional. Nowadays, a LEED AP has a certain specialty, which we shall see. And at the top end, you know, the pinnacle of this, of a green building professional would be a LEED fellow. So LEED Green Associate, we're trying to provide you a basic understanding of green building systems and technologies. You know the components of the different LEED rating system, how the LEED system works. It's your first step to becoming a LEED accredited professional. And the price of admission is sitting for a 2-hour exam. Again, in the textbook, at the end of each chapter are multiple choice questions, which you can use to practice on. The answers are in the end of the book. If you are serious about doing this semester, which I hope you are, you're going to have to put in the effort to read the chapters, and just like the guy in the TED Talk there, right, on the way to school, do practice problems. On the way home from school, you're probably taking the bus to school. You can't do that if you're driving your car to Triton, right? Do practice problems, right? Effort. Lead AP or accredited professional comes now with a specialty. So you take a lead AP with specialty, and those specialties line up with the different rating systems in the lead program. So the specialty in lead AP, BD and C. BD and C is building design and construction. So this would be the design and construction of new buildings and major renovations. New construction, core and shell, we talked about what that was last week. Schools, hospitals, right? New building construction is lead AP, BD, and C. And again, if folks, please, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, shout them out. But I do my best to present and watch the chat and keep up with everyone's questions. Like lead AP, O&M would be operations and maintenance of existing facilities. So let's say you're a facility manager or a property manager, right? Or like me, I was my previous job to what I'm doing currently, I was an energy manager, right? An energy manager is someone who looks across groups of buildings and looks for ways of making those buildings more efficient. I was an energy manager for a big company, right? So if you're in the operations and maintenance of buildings and you wanted to become a lead accredited professional, you would be a lead AP O&M, right? I think if you're interested in this business, I think there are lots of opportunities in the facilities management world. Again, a lot of the people who do this stuff are like me, right? I'm frankly an old white guy, right? I'm a few years away from retirement. When people like me retire, folks like you are going to have to step up and learn this business and take over doing the things that people like me are currently doing, right? That's an opportunity. And you have to put forth the effort to capture that opportunity, right? Lead AP with specialty, ID and C, interior design and construction. And we said that the core and shell under BD and C and interior design and construction kind of fit together. So ID and C is tenant improvements or fit outs, right? In a lot of speculative commercial construction, somebody builds a building, a core and a shell. They put up a building that has an outside and has a core, you know, the elevator shaft and the stairwells and the mechanical systems. And each of those floors is empty. And then when they lease that floor out, then someone else, that tenant, comes and builds out or fits out that interior. Again, there's a lead rating system and a lead AP specialty that goes along with that. We also have a lead accredited professional for ND or neighborhood design, neighborhood development. This has to do with urban planning and neighborhood development, right? If you're the person who is laying out how beyond the scope of a single building, laying out how a neighborhood or an urban neighborhood gets planned or put together, you would be, and you wanted to get a lead AP accreditation, you would be accredited as a lead AP ND or neighborhood development. And last but not least, LEED AP homes. Right, this would be for if your work is in the residential market. You might get a LEED AP with specialty in LEED AP homes. So again, accredited professionals with specialties that line up with the different parts of the LEED rating system. Can you have more than one specialty? Yes, I believe that you are accredited as one thing, but you certainly can do more than one thing in your professional practice. Right? You could, if you're an architect or a designer or whatever you do, right? You can do more than one thing, right? This is not saying you can only do one thing. All it's saying is that if you're going to sit for the LEED AP exam, you sit for the exam with a particular specialty. But it doesn't mean that you have to limit your practice to just that sort of thing. Did that answer your question, Mac? Right, again, to earn the LEED AP credential, again, you're going to sit for a 2-hour exam. If you were so inclined and ambitious, you could do both the LEED GA and AP on the same day. That might be a pretty busy day. I think what the LEED folks recommend is, you know, I can teach you in an academic setting about LEED GA, but for you to be successful with the LEED AP exam, you probably want to have some, let me put the point around here, have some project experience, right? Whatever that might be, as a designer or a builder, a tradesman, that would help you understand this better. Right, so again, those AP accredited professional specialties align with the various rating systems, right? We have all this group of rating systems under BD&C. Sorry, I got my phone sitting at my desk here just in case one of you texts me, and of course someone is lighting up my text here looking for money for something, so I better silence my phone here so I don't get distracted. Right, so again, we have, for different specific types of buildings, we have BD&C rating systems. Same thing for O&M, operations and maintenance. Right, each of these particular rating system categories aligns with the specialties. Right, again, standards are applicable to many building types, and the LEED system kind of runs through the life cycle of a building, right? We design buildings, we build them, then we operate and maintain them. And hopefully, if we've done a good job at the front end in the designing of the building, then that building has a long service life, right? It lasts a long time. So again, here's ID&C. Yes, Ayana, let me give you some guidance on that. That's a good question, Lee. You see in the chat what Ayana is asking. I'll give that some thought. I mean, my guess would be that almost certainly anywhere you go in the world of architects, you know, there are going to be LEED APs at almost every architecture firm these days. I think the best thing, and I'll work on this before next class, Ayana, and for the rest of you. I'll find out where you can go to look up databases of LEED certified buildings. So probably the best thing to do would be to find a building or building that you're interested in, figure out who the architect or the designer was. But yes, let me give you some more guidance. That's a great question, Ayana. I will give you some more guidance on that. And I got to remember how to save what's in the chat, because as soon as I push the go away button, your question disappears. But again, at the top end, the pinnacle of this profession will be a LEED fellow, right? The most exceptional professionals in the green building community. That's probably a long way off, so let's take it one step at a time. So what's the typical process for these exams? Actually, on Blackboard, under the course materials, under the folder that says LEED GA materials, I downloaded the Green Associates Candidate Handbook. Right, you have to set up an account, pay the fee, $100. It's certainly, that would be an investment, just like what you're doing here and taking this class. You've made an investment. You're paying tuition. You're making an investment in yourself and your career. Study, schedule, take the exam. Right. So again, I'm going to do my best during this semester is to prepare you. Good question, Alfonso. I believe the credential lasts forever. I don't believe there is an expiration on the credential, but I will find that out as well. I think what you need to do, as you do for many professional credentials, is that you'll have continuing education requirements. So in the case of me, right, I am a PE, I'm a professional engineer, right? So that's the professional registration in my business. So in my case, I have to get so many hours of continuing education, and every 2 years I have to renew my license, right? I have a professional engineer's license. I believe the same thing is true in the LEED world, but I will have that answer for you next week. Good questions. Keep them coming. So again, what is a green building? Green building is a building that has a substantially reduced impact on the natural environment, and that provides indoor conditions conducive to human health, right? That's what it, we've had that definition or something like that throughout the semester. So again, a rating system helps us quantify that. Again, what are some of the aspects of green building? We talked about these things before, but they bear repeating. Certainly the most important one is site selection, where you build the building. Ideally, we want to redevelop an existing site, adaptively reuse an existing building, right? Have access to public transportation. It'd be nice to have a site where we have access to sunlight or wind or solar panels, but that may or may not be the case, especially if we're building in an existing urban environment, right? I would say that the upside of reusing existing infrastructure and being close to transportation kind of outweighs the access to sunlight that you might get for your solar panels, right? We can, as we'll see later in the semester, we can get green energy elsewhere. But if we build a building far away from public transportation and we make people drive there, then we've baked in all that energy use for the life of the building. So site selection design is the next step. And we're going to talk about integrated design, right? Thinking about how all the different components of the building work together, the building envelope, the glazing, or the windows, the lighting, the mechanical system, the controls, all those things are designed and thought about, and they work together, right? Just like all the parts of an ecosystem. We had a slide a couple of weeks ago about an ecosystem, right? Think about a well-designed building being just like an ecosystem, right? Where each component of the building plays its part to making a successful whole. And obviously then the construction process, right? What are we actually doing to build the building? Site management, you know, in the LEED rating system, as we see, we want to minimize the impacts of the construction process on the site, you know, runoff, sedimentation, damage to vegetation. Those are all things that we want to control. Obviously, we want to create a safe workplace for the tradesmen, tradespeople, tradespersons who work on the job. We also want to make sure that we protect building materials from water and damage during the construction process. We don't want to put up the drywall and have soggy drywall get put up that gets moldy, right? Some other aspects of the green building process, right? You see that these are, you know, no one person is going to do all of these things, right? This is a team effort, right? Each of us as construction professionals may play a different role in this team, but it's a team effort to be successful. So operating the building is part of that team effort. So commissioning is a structured process that's typically done at the end of construction to try to put all the systems in operation and to make sure that the construction, that the intent of the designers was achieved, right? The architect and the designers designed the building and said it's supposed to work like this. Is it actually doing the things that those designers intended, right? We have to train the people that are going to run the building, the staff, right? If you're a trade and you see the tradespeople in their blue shirts, right, driving around on scooters with tool belts, right? Those are the people that operate the buildings. Those people that operate the buildings have to know what the intent of the designers were so they can run the building in the most efficient manner possible. Again, if you're looking for opportunities in the construction business, right, the people that operate the buildings, you know, we need people that can do that stuff, right? That's a good opportunity. And what role do the occupants have in the operation of the building? In some cases, you know, we're looking for the occupants to open and close the blinds or the windows. We want to make that clear what role the occupants may play. Oftentimes in a green building, we'll have some kiosk or some informational place where the people who walk into the building can see features of the building. They may be able to see a dashboard on energy consumption. I mean, that's a common feature of green buildings, right? To let occupants know what role they play. Right, maintenance is part of a green building. Janitorial supplies and procedures. We looked at that when we walked through H building a couple of weeks ago. We talked about the fact that Triton employs, you know, low impact green cleaning procedures, right, to minimize the impacts on their cleaning staff and also make sure that they're not introducing harmful chemicals or substances into the air that you are breathing as an occupant of the building. Oftentimes in a green building, there'll be some kind of monitoring and verification. Right, again, the designer said, oh, I think the building will use this much energy over the course of a year. Typically, that energy consumption will be monitored and fine-tuned, right? So we actually achieve what the designers were looking for. And then waste management, or how are wastes handled during the construction process? What happened to all the materials that were used? And we'll have a lecture later on in the semester about construction and demolition waste. We looked at this before. Why are we concerned about the resource uses of buildings, right? Buildings use about 40% of the energy. Right? You see residential and commercial buildings, add them up, that's 40%. That's the big, again, I was an energy manager, right? We would always look at groups of buildings or look at where the different energy was being used in the building. You know, what's the biggest pie slice? Let's go after that pie slice first, right? So 40%, that's the biggest pie slice. That's why we're going after that. Again, talked about the fact that green buildings have done well can reduce energy use, reduce CO2 emissions. We saw how important reducing CO2 emissions is. Reduce water use, right? Water, obviously a precious resource. Can't live without water, right? We can live without gasoline. We can live without a lot of things, but can't live without water. And again, reduce solid waste. If we do our jobs well, then we provide a healthier and more productive environment for the folks who are spending their time inside the buildings that we've just designed or built, or that we operate or maintain. Right, here's our picture before us. Right, we have to think about our buildings as a system. The built environment is composed of a series of interrelated systems that form a whole. So just like a forest where there's different parts of that forest in our building, there's the building envelope, there's the glazing, there's the shading, there's the lighting control, the ventilation, the heating and the air conditioning, all those things come together. All those things come together if we do our jobs well and all work together. So we have to think about our building as a system. We'll take a break here in just a minute because my voice is starting to give out. Let's do this. It's a couple minutes before the top of the hour. Let's take a 10-minute break here, and that will give me a chance to go find my cats that are still outside in the dark, and get a glass of water. We'll start back up a couple minutes after the hour. Any questions? Okay, we'll see you in 10 minutes.